Millionaire's deaf daughter lost all hope, until a single dad whispered, "I'll help her." Sometimes the quietest whisper changes everything. In the sterile halls of Seattle's Bayside Medical Center, a billionaire's daughter sat trapped in silence, broken, angry, and ready to give up on life itself. She had lost her hearing in a devastating accident. She had lost her hope in the months that followed. And on one desperate night, she had nearly lost her life. But what she didn't know, what no one could have predicted, was that an ordinary hospital orderly was about to walk into her room and offer her something no amount of money could buy, a chance to be heard. Before we continue, tell us where you're tuning in from. We love seeing how far our stories travel. Jonas Keller's shift was supposed to end 20 minutes ago. He was exhausted, tired in the bone-deep way that came from 10 hours of transporting patients, restocking supply rooms, and running between floors at Bayside Medical. His feet ached, his back throbbed, and all he wanted was to pick up his daughter Nora from Mrs. Holland's house and collapse onto the couch. But as he passed through the East Wing, the private suites where Seattle's wealthiest patients recovered in rooms that looked more like penthouses, he saw her through the window. A young woman in her mid-20s, sitting in a wheelchair, facing the floor-to-ceiling windows that overlooked the city lights. Her shoulders shook. She was crying. Jonas had seen countless tears in his 4 years at the hospital. Families breaking down after bad news. Patients weeping from fear, from pain, from the weight of their diagnosis. But this woman's grief was different. It was the kind of crying people do when they think no one is watching, when they've run out of strength to hold it together, when they no longer care who sees them break. He knew who she was. Everyone knew. Mercy Hale, daughter of Corbin Hale, the tech billionaire who had built Hale Dynamics from nothing. 3 months earlier she'd been in a horrific car accident. She had survived, but the trauma to her inner ears had left her completely, permanently deaf. The staff whispered about her. She refused to eat. She hurled objects at nurses. She pushed away every sign language instructor, every therapist. She wouldn't engage. Wouldn't try. Wouldn't let anyone in. And 2 nights ago, Jonas had heard a rumor that made his stomach twist. She had tried to take her own life. A night nurse had found her in the bathroom with broken glass pressed to her wrist. She hadn't cut deep enough to cause serious damage, but the intent had been unmistakable. Since then her room had been under suicide watch. A prison of fluorescent lights and concerned eyes. Jonas stood in the hallway, watching her cry. He knew he should leave. This wasn't his job. He wasn't a therapist or counselor. He was an orderly, someone who cleaned and organized and moved patients from one place to another. But something in his gut urged him to stay. He thought of his mother. Helen Keller, no relation to the famous one, though she endured the jokes, had been deaf since age 3. Meningitis had taken her hearing but never her spirit. She had raised Jonas alone after his father left, working as a seamstress while teaching her son that communication wasn't about sound. It was about connection. By the age of 5, Jonas could sign fluently. By 10, he understood that his mother's deafness wasn't a disability. It was simply another way of moving through the world. She taught him that silence didn't mean isolation. It meant paying attention to the things most people missed: facial expressions, body language, the subtle shift of emotion. He had been her translator, her advocate, her partner in a world designed for the hearing. She taught him courage and patience. She taught him to refuse invisibility. 2 years ago, breast cancer had taken her, too fast for him to say goodbye the way he wanted. But her lessons had never left him. And now, looking at Mercy through that window, he heard his mother's voice as clearly as if she were standing beside him. The hardest part of going deaf, Jonas, wasn't the silence. It was feeling like no one could reach me anymore, like I was locked in a room and everyone else was on the other side of the glass. He exhaled, made a decision, and pushed open the door. Mercy turned sharply, alarm flaring in her eyes. Her knuckles whitened around the armrests of her wheelchair. Jonas saw the fear, the same fear she must have shown every stranger who entered her room. Another nurse. Another therapist. Another person who would move their mouth and expect her to understand. Someone who would treat her like she was broken. Jonas didn't speak. He approached slowly. He knelt so they would be eye level. Then he raised his hands. "I see you," he signed. His movements were slow and deliberate, shaped for someone who might not yet understand. "You're scared. You're angry. You think no one understands." Mercy's eyes widened. Confusion flickered, followed by something fragile, almost hope, but thinner, more dangerous. Jonas continued. "But I do understand. My mother was deaf. She taught me this language. She taught me that losing your hearing doesn't mean losing your voice." Mercy stared at him, chest rising and falling quickly, tears still streaking her face. "I know you're in pain. I know you feel alone. But you're not. If you'll let me, I'll help you find your way back." For a long, still moment, Mercy didn't move. Then she nodded. Barely. But it was enough. The door burst open. "What the hell is going on here?" Corbin Hale stormed into the room, tall, imposing, wrapped in a suit worth more than Jonas made in 3 months. Fury and fear flashed across his face. "Who are you? What are you doing in my daughter's room?" Jonas kept his voice calm. "My name is Jonas Keller. I work here as an orderly. I know American Sign Language. My mother was deaf. I saw your daughter was upset and I wanted to help." Corbin's eyes hardened. "Help? Is that what you call this? Did you see an opportunity? Do you want money? Is that it?" "No, sir. I don't want anything. I know what it's like to love someone who lives in silence. And I know your daughter is suffering in ways medicine can't fix." "You know nothing about my daughter," Corbin snapped. "Nothing about what we've been through." "You're right," Jonas said softly. "But I know what it feels like to watch someone you love feel completely alone in a room full of people. Sometimes the only thing that helps is knowing someone can actually hear you, even without sound." Corbin opened his mouth, ready to tear into him again, but something stopped him. He glanced at Mercy. What he saw froze him in place. Her eyes were still full of tears, but not the empty, hopeless ones he'd seen for months. There was something new there. Hope. His shoulders sagged. His voice softened. "The best sign language instructors in Seattle have tried working with her. They all failed." "Maybe," Jonas said, "she wasn't ready to listen. Until now." Corbin stared at him, thinking. Then he pulled out his phone. "What did you say your name was?" "Jonas Keller." "Wait outside, Mr. Keller. I need to make some calls." Jonas stepped out, heart pounding. He'd just put his job on the line. He'd approached a billionaire's daughter without permission. He'd made promises he wasn't sure he could keep. But he remembered the look on Mercy's face, the moment something cracked open. 20 minutes later, Corbin emerged. "Mr. Keller," he said, guarded but steady, "I've spoken with my daughter. She wants you to teach her." Jonas blinked. "Sign language? She wants to learn from you. I'm offering you a position as her private instructor, 3 days a week, 2 hours per session. I'll pay you 3 times your current salary. Once she's discharged, you'll come to our home. If this works, the position is yours for as long as she needs it. 3 times his salary. That kind of money could change everything for him and Nora. But that wasn't why he'd done it. "I'll do it," Jonas said quietly. "But not for the money. I'll do it because your daughter deserves to know she's not alone." Corbin studied him, then gave a faint, reluctant smile. "Maybe you are different." That night, Jonas drove home in a daze. The Seattle streets shimmered with reflections of streetlights on wet pavement. He thought about Nora, 6 years old, sweet, curious, likely already asleep. He hated missing bedtime. He hated that she went to sleep so many nights without him. Nora didn't remember her mother clearly. She'd been 3 when Lilac died, a routine surgery gone catastrophically wrong. One moment alive, the next gone. Jonas had become a single father overnight. He'd been in grad school at the time, studying to become a deaf education teacher. But dreams didn't pay bills. Dreams didn't provide health insurance for a grieving child. So he dropped out. Took the orderly job. Boxed up his ambitions. Someday, he'd told himself. He picked up Nora from Mrs. Holland's house. The retired teacher greeted him warmly. "You look exhausted," she said. "Long shift." "You could say that." He told her everything. Mercy. The moment in the hospital. The job offer. Mrs. Holland squeezed his hand. "Your mother would be so proud. I just hope I can help her." "You will. You have your mother's heart." Jonas lifted Nora from the couch. She stirred as he buckled her in. "Daddy," she murmured. "Hey, sweetie. Sorry I'm late." "It's okay. Mrs. Holland made cookies. I saved you too." Jonas smiled, aching with love. "Daddy," she whispered as sleep pulled her under, "did you help someone today?" Jonas paused. "Yeah, honey. I think I did." "Good. Grandma Helen always said helping people is the most important thing." Jonas blinked back tears. "She was right," he whispered. 2 weeks later, Mercy was discharged. Jonas arrived at the Ashford estate, a mansion of glass and steel overlooking Puget Sound. His old pickup looked ridiculous among the luxury cars. A housekeeper led him through immaculate rooms until they reached a sun-filled space overflowing with plants. Mercy waited there, sitting in her wheelchair, dressed comfortably but carrying the same tension in her shoulders. Corbin stood nearby, watching. Jonas knelt at her level and signed, "Hello, Mercy. Ready to begin?" She hesitated, then lifted her hands. Her signs were clumsy, but he understood. "I'm scared." Jonas felt something tighten in his chest. "It's okay to be scared. We'll go slowly. I promise." The first sessions were brutal. Mercy tried, truly tried, but frustration came fast. Her hands wouldn't cooperate. She forgot signs. She grew angry. On the third day, she hurled a book across the room, face flushed, tears streaking down. Jonas approached quietly and knelt beside her. "You're allowed to be angry," he signed. "But throwing things won't make this easier." "I hate this," she signed sharply. "I hate being broken. I hate how everyone looks at me. I hate that my father has to learn a new language just to talk to me. I hate that I'm not normal anymore." "You're not broken," Jonas signed firmly. "You're different. That's not the same. You don't understand." Jonas pulled out his phone and showed her a picture of his mother, smiling at her sewing machine. "This is my mother. Deaf since she was 3. She raised me alone. She told me that, normal, is just a word people use when they're afraid of different." Mercy stared at the photo. Did she ever wish she wasn't deaf? Jonas thought. Sometimes she wished the world was more accommodating. But she never wished she was someone else. She said being deaf taught her to see the world more clearly.